Whoa, what's up, chat? Ugh, I am tired. But I'm back doing some deck reviews. I didn't get to too many last month. Busy with a long video, so I wanted the first one to be deck reviews, so I can at least have some in the bag, and then I'll stream it again later, get a decent amount done. Um, yeah, basically the thing is pretty simple. If you're a tier 2 or 3 patron, you can submit deck lists into a like a thread in the Discord, and then I kind of go through the thread and pick out decks that I find interesting and talk about them. And I'm gonna do this one because I actually recently I helped Travis build an alloy list. So I'd just been thinking about this commander for a little bit. So I think it'd be kind of fun to look at what someone else did for it. Yeah, what up, Alec, man? That's going all right. I'm just tired. Got a lot to do, and I probably stayed up too late last night. So this deck is loopable bribery combo. I'm not sure I understand what even is this. I don't see the card bribery, so maybe I'm. Oh, inevitable betrayal. We're looping this. How? Often discovers through the whole deck. Okay, well let's see if I can figure out how this list works. All right, so inevitable betrayal. We're probably trying to cascade into it or discover into it. Is that what we're doing? I guess whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, you discover extra X of the greatest power among them. Oh, wait. Oh, there's 0 power creatures. Oh, wait, this is really funny. Well, hold up, this deck is really funny. When can patrons grab Dota games with you? That's probably a bad idea. Dota brings out my more toxic side. I'm very mean on Dota. Um, that's okay, Tygo. This is all extra stuff. The main content's free. How good is the Ooze token? Honestly, I haven't played with any of the Ooze tokens yet, so it's kind of hard for me to say. Toxic Drink is not fun. It's just me like yelling at randos. Which, by the way, Dota is a very funny game to yell at randos because it's quite easy to get people to say something bannable, and then you just report them, and you can just blow them up from there. I could go on a whole rant about the the behavior score system. It's really funny, but that's not what we're doing here. I've now figured out how this deck works. That's very funny. So you attack with a 0 power artifact creature, and then this lets you cast Inevitable Betrayal. And then do we have to put it on the bottom of our deck? Cast off highest mana cost, or put it in your hand. Rest on the bottom in random order. Right, this is like a wheel that shuffles everything back in. Do we have anything else that's like putting stuff on the bottom? Chad, am I missing something about how this is loopable? Because if you discover and then you cast Inevitable Betrayal, it just goes to the graveyard, right? So if I'm looping this, oh, here we go. Put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Ah, there's one. Okay. Here's another one. Put target card from the graveyard on the bottom of the library. Got it. Okay. So that's what we're doing. Got it. Ooh, this is fun. I'm really working on a Mishra and Animar list. Hell yeah. I love which Mishra? The classic one or the? Here's what I want to do is, I know there's a non-creature artifact that lets you do what Riedo Sentinel does. Oh, it's Riedo Lantern. Yeah, there we go. I feel like I kind of like the Lantern as a addition to this deck, because it's a little harder to kill just by being not a creature. Oh, did I miss it? Is it already in here? Oh, I missed it. I'm dumb. Just put in Reigns of Power, it'll solve everything. Actually, Reigns of Power is not a bad idea in a deck like this where you just have a bunch of terrible creatures with no power. I wanted to see if, like, because, with the Lantern, you can play stuff like Quintorius or Tormod, and then you, like, make dudes. I wonder if, like, Wan Shi Tong is a good option here. Whenever one or more cards are put into your library from anywhere, you make 2/1/1 spirits. It's not too bad. I'll just put this in, like, a maybe. We'll think about that. It's my favorite plane. I don't know. I'm not sure. I like Eldraine. I think Eldraine is fun, like, flavor-wise. So is Ixalan, though. Like, I liked Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I thought there was a lot of cool types and cards from there. Oh, we definitely need well, Soldevi Digger is only the Soldevi Digger is only the top card of your library, but it is more mana efficient than the Lantern technically. I can't think of another card like Tormod, but in blue. If I just do this. Anyway, whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard during your turn, put a counter on this creature. That's quite niche. Oh, Chalk Outline's not bad. Desecrated Tomb. As it gains you a life, whenever this enchantment enters, mill 4 cards. Put an artifact, creature, or land from among them into your hand. And now what's my favorite plane? Yeah. I kind of like the idea of having more synergy for this, like more of a payoff. Like Willowgeist or like Chalk Outline is kind of neat. Because the thing about the Inevitable Betrayal plan is, although it is funny, what happens is, you can only do it once a turn functionally with Alloy, right? You're going to attack, flip your Inevitable Betrayal, and the next turn, use the Lantern to put it back in your deck, and then attack, and then flip it again, so on and so forth. But with cards like Wan Shi Tong or Willowgeist or Desecrated Tomb, we can remove the reliance on the commander a little bit and get additional value out of our Lantern. So if your commander is not in play, you can still kind of get a little, extra things going, which is pretty neat. Yeah, Eldraine is fun. The 5 quartz. Yeah, I like Eldraine. Yeah, the 5 quartz are cool. You're a sucker for a distinct faction because you're like, yeah. You prefer Innistrad to Eldraine? I like Innistrad too. I mean, I think there's a lot of great planes. Honestly, like I know this is a hot take, but I actually didn't mind New Capenna. I thought New Capenna was kind of cool. It had the 3-color factions. I thought the lore around it was pretty fun. I like Halo was like meth, but they tried to tell you it wasn't drugs, but it was basically drugs. I think a lot of that was really fun. Kaldheim, I don't know. I didn't resonate with it. For whatever reason, Norse mythology is just not that interesting to me. You know, but to each their own. Oh, what if we played a Lignify in the deck? All right, hear me out on this. It's removal, but it can also turn on your game plan because you could use it on your own creature if you're like, oh dang, my Sentinel has 3 power, I can't trigger my thing in Inevitable Betrayal. You can Lignify your own thing in a pinch. And then that's like a cool little bonus utility for it. Plus, Lignify is actually like a reasonable magic card. Halo is more of an allegory for coke. Is a party drug. Yeah, fair. Yeah, but you know they were trying to distance it from drugs, but it was drugs. You know, just like in air quotes. Yeah, Zendikar is cool pre-Eldrazi. I think it'd be fun to go there now that they cleared the Eldrazi out. Yeah, what up, Grave Robber? Trying to think, is there anything that makes like are you playing the land that makes an 0/1 plant? That also seems pretty useful here. Oh, but it's not an artifact creature. It has to be an artifact creature, right? Yeah, it's gotta be an artifact creature. Is there a 0/1 artifact creature token? Let's look at all the artifact creature tokens. Is there a 0/1? Dang, I was thinking the Pentavite might have been a 0/1. There's a couple of artifact walls with 0 power. Yeah, but then they can't attack, so they can't trigger... they can't trigger alloy. Yeah, yeah. Dang. It's just this one. You're right. There was the wall, but it can't attack. Okay, never mind. One thing that is pretty sweet is you could add Stronic Resonator. If you have the ability, it's a bit win more, but I feel like you kind of need it in this deck because the deck needs a little bit of oomph. You know, you can have 2 alloy triggers on the stack with the Stronic Resonator, cast 1 Inevitable Betrayal before the second one resolves, activate your Sentinel or Lantern, put it back, you know, so on and so forth. Thopters maybe? No, there's no 0/1 Thopter, sadly. Well, what does he do? Thopter control, base power, and draw a card, discard your hand. Here we go. Wait. Right, look, this guy. Here we go. Draw a card, discard a card. If the discarded card was an artifact, exile it from your yard. If you do, you make an 0/2 Thopter copy of it. This might be good here. This lets you make like a 0/2 flying Oh, I guess Padim's not an artifact. This makes a 0/2 flying transplant theorist or sentinel, and then the sentinel becomes your whole game plan, right? Because it's a 0 power creature and can put the card on the bottom, so it kind of works out. And then it also becomes like a flyer. I guess this thing has defender. Whatever, you can do that with this thing, transplant theorist. It also opens up to slightly more artifact creatures, like this one. Yeah, you could do this. That could be cool. If it was, oh no, it's any artifact. It doesn't even have to be an artifact creature, right? So you could turn your talisman into an O2 Thopter that can attack, which is pretty useful. Eldrazi spawn are not artifact creatures. Alloy only triggers on artifact creatures. So sadly that doesn't work, but I like where your head's at. All right, let's talk about like cuts. I'm like Jace. If Jace is in here because you think it's fun, sure, but man, this card's not good. Oh, is it here in case the betrayal gets stuck in your hand? Honestly, I think you just cast it. If it gets stuck in your hand, you just suspend it, you know? O1 homunculus token? What card makes an homunculus token? Mystic Remora, this is like a bracket 2 deck. I'm really a Mystic Remora hater in bracket 2. I always find that there's too many creatures, so it just kind of ends up being a big waste of mana. Lightning Greaves makes sense. Mana base makes sense. What if this is a Lithoform Engine deck? Think about Lithoform Engine. You can copy the trigger of Alloy, or you copy the instant of sorcery, so it lets you copy the Inevitable Betrayal. And then you can also copy the permanent that you steal with Inevitable Betrayal, right? It kind of works on all fronts. We can make it work with Encroaching Mind, because that's too many hoops. Few other things. Frantic Surge is kind of in this deck. It's not card advantage. It's just filtering. And your deck is full of redundant pieces, right? Because to get the first activation of what you need, it's just your commander and like a 0 power creature, which is quite easy for this deck to put together. I feel like consistency isn't your issue, so maybe Frantic Surge can get axed. Especially if you also have tutors like Scour for Scrap, you know? Target against Hexproof and Indestructible until end of turn, or target permanent. Oh, nice. Create a 1/1 pilot. Cool. Tamio's main story. I don't know what this is. Whenever a creature attacks you or Planeswalker gets -2/-0 until end of turn, discard any number of cards, then investigate twice for each card discarded this way. Okay. Shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard. Okay. I mean, if it's there for the third mode, because you know, it means you can't really play it until you already have the thing in the bin that you want to put back, or you like require some setup. I think it's a little awkward. Eternal Witness, that makes sense. One of the Paradise. Spin Crusher, this guy's your power, perfect. I think most of the rest of the list is pretty good. I would say maybe these 4 are something I would axe. And, you know, a couple options. I like adding in, like there's you know 2 ways, right? We can double down on the plan with Stronic Resonator and Lithoform Engine and try and win more in that capacity and get more value out of the plan. or you could play other things that will affect the that work synergistically with the list and lets you get additional value if your commander's not in play, like Desecrated Tomb and your Chalk Outlines and your Willowgeist Monchy Tongs. And adding those, I think, does give this list a little bit more consistency. You can make some more blockers, which is not bad. So I think doing that route isn't a horrible idea either. Kind of depends on how you want to go. Either double down on the plan or make it a little bit more consistent. Either way, very cool deck. This is really funny. It's not often you see Collected Company in EDH, but it does make sense in this deck. And like the Inevitable Betrayal plan is very funny. This is a pretty sweet deck. One last thing is oh man, I'm totally blanking on the name of the creature. It's like an elf. Costs green and 1. I know that doesn't narrow it down very much. Is it Rift Sweeper? There it is. Rift Sweeper is neat in decks like this. It lets you put an exiled card into its owner's library. So if your Inevitable Betrayal gets exiled, this is a way to get it back. Which is pretty sweet. Can you make your life a lot easier if you just cut all the 1-drops and only had the Betrayal as your 1 or less target? Maybe. Maybe. It depends if you think it's worth... Because, like, here's the thing, is, like, Darksteel Mirror, is it worth playing 1-power creatures? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Because if you add the 1-power creatures, then suddenly we've opened up Thopters, right? You can just make a Thopter and then attack with a Thopter and trigger your Inevitable Betrayal, which is pretty sweet. And we're already not running Soul Ring, So you would just have to axe like Llanowar Elves and Nature's Claim and like Pognify, which isn't horrible. Like, if you wanted to redo the deck, I actually think that that's not a terrible idea. And then just add like Thopter production and like do that. I do think there is some benefits to the 0. Like Darksteel Mirror is pretty good. Oh, I guess you could also have them still, right? I don't know. Maybe getting rid of the 1-drops is worth it. I guess when this patron watches this portion of the stream, they can think about that. Maybe you cut all the 1-drops and then you open up Thopters, which you can make Thopters very easily and very consistently as well. Oh, it's a good suggestion. What have we reviewed so far? Just this deck. Just this deck. I spent more time on it than I had anticipated, but it was a really interesting deck. Like, this is really cool. I like this deck a lot, actually. All right. Let's move on to another list. Elikman, I think, is in the chat, and I saw you posted one. Let me take a look-see here. So you said this is supposed to be a graveyard toolbox. Got it. But it's very slow. You either see a card like Hermit Druid or 6 and get showered in value, or you sit there in the corner for 5 turns and do nothing and cast 1 whole creature from my graveyard. I was told I need more cards that mill a ton at once. They're quite expensive. I don't know what to do here. I'm legit on the verge of taking it apart. All right, let's see if we can save this deck. Let's see if we can save this deck. You just made a few edits. Well, hang on. Let me refresh. Well, is this the edited list? Is this like accurate? Well, I haven't copied the list yet. So if you made changes here, it should be updated. We should be good. I need to remind myself what this commander does. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to the other costs. Oh, that's neat. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control enter, if 1 or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put 2 counters on it. Ooh, disappointing that his payoff mode is not that great. But, you know, we'll see. All right. Since I have the list, I'm gonna just clear all of these. Let's whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Is these cards Elk told you to cut? Told you to cut Secrets of the Dead? That goober. That goober. This is like one of the best cards for this type of deck. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to leave those up because I want to call out Elk specifically for being wrong. Oh, these cards, ball downs. This is really funny. Okay. There's so many extra things here. Oh, is this for Emrakul combo with the hourglass thing? I mean, it's probably too much excess. So many. Look, after all these edits, maybe you should cut the deck. All right, so Secrets of the Dead 100% is like should be in the list. This is a crazy card to suggest cutting. I feel like Spore Frog makes sense for a utility toolbox deck. Let me look at the list now, and we'll see what happened. Yeah, of course, Alex suggested the Emrakul combo. I mean, it's funny. It is funny because you could just like permanently Mindslaver lock somebody, which is you know silly to do. It is a lot of work to do that. Okay, so we got Conduit Worlds, her Head Shredder. Yep. Oculus. Why not? Sure. Okay. Is there a reason that we're playing Archfiend over Massacre Worm? Is there a specific budget for this deck too? Catch you later, Guru. Thanks for hanging out. Whenever one or more cards leaves your graveyard, you draw a card and lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. Cool. It's like Secrets of the Dead. Yeah, seems good. Lotus Dances. When this creature enters such area for a black card, green card, blue card, put them in your graveyard. That's fun. So, okay. All right. I'm putting together what I think is wrong with the deck. So if we look at like any toolbox list, right? Is you know, the purpose of the toolbox list is on your turn you could find whatever you need and you know, go, here is my solution for this board state. And then you pull it out and you do that. And then when the board state recovers, you're like, here's my solution for this board state. And then you do that, right? That's how toolbox decks work. But the problem is a toolbox is never a game plan. Because it doesn't win the game. It's a purely reactive thing, and it's not proactive in any capacity. No specific budget, dropping that before I just avoid adding cards at $10. Whether, yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, I was just thinking. I don't. How much is Massacre Worm these days? $1.50. I think Massacre Worm is better than Archfiend of Sorrows. I know this flies and has Unearth, but I think Massacre Worm's a better card. I'm gonna put this on the maybe board. Where did the maybe board go? That's like here. Okay. Is Blood Pod in this? I sorry. I saw B Pod and I thought Blood Pod. But Birthing Pod is the card you're thinking of. Yeah, and then also Fiend Artisan, right? Fiend Artisan is another Blood Pod, Birthing Pod. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the deck Blood Pod. Another Birthing Pod type effect. Birthing Pod's a little on the pricey side, but Fiend Artisan, not too bad, and Massacre Worm, quite good. Right, you sort of centralizing the game plan around leave graveyard effects. I mean, you don't have like Tormod in here. There's no Tormod. Whoops, not Tormod's Crypt. Tormod, Desecrator, Chalk Outline, you know what's a cool card? Carrionet. Carrionet is a really weird card. Let me pull up the Oracle text. Is it 2 R's? Am I stupid? It is 2 R's. So Carrionet is pay 4, exile this card and target creature unless its controller pays 2. You can only activate it if it's in your graveyard. Funny thing about this is you can activate that and then Tortured Existence to have it swap. So it doesn't actually exile itself. It loses track, but it still exiles your opponent's creature. Kind of mana intensive, but we are in green. If you ramp enough, it could be a fun Tortured Existence removal engine. You used to have Tormod in, cut him when... Well, we'll see if we can find room for him. I'm the 5th creator to look at this deck. That's funny. But here's the thing that I'm seeing is... Alright, so I'm gonna... I bet all 4 other content creators that looked at this aren't gonna say this. The reason this deck is slow and clunky is you're making Clotus your toolbox engine. When really... he should be just a value piece separately. And what you actually should be doing is playing Birthing Pod and Fiend Artisan as creature toolbox stuff. And then the graveyard recursion is just to reuse the tools later on. Does that make sense? So if we add stuff like Fierce Empath, Woodland Bellower, and instead just make this more of a creature toolbox plan, I think it's going to be a lot more consistent. Because the problem is to actually utilize Clotus as your toolbox. Unlike a tutor, you're not searching your whole library, you're just searching your graveyard. So to get this to work, you have to first mill yourself such that you have milled yourself enough that you have the card that you actually want to use in your graveyard, then play your commander, then get the card out of the graveyard into play to use its effect. That is way too many hoops. Whereas instead, if you're like, ooh, I need card draw, let me Fierce Empath for Disciple of Freyles, and then use that to sacrifice a creature that's already in play. If when my Freyles dies, I can now use Clotus to reuse that. It's a second time using that. Yeah, like Yisan might be a little slow. Yisan might be a little slow. I do like birthing ritual though. Man, that sounds gross. That sounds like a weird thing to say. Um, but yeah, something like birthing ritual is like a perfect example of something that could work. Like I feel like being a creature utility deck, and then we're just using your commander late game, right? Instead of having him be the main engine they have to set up, just in the late game, naturally your creatures are going to die. You know, you birthing pod your, something into something else, and then that's something you sacrifice you can reuse later. I think that's going to make the deck work a lot smoother, and then what we can do is we can just cut this crap. Like, cut some of, you don't need to mill yourself. Like, clear all that junk out of there. I mean, you can have stuff like Lively Dirge or Life from the Loam. They have other utility, but the stuff that was there to just mill you, we can ditch that. And then, just tutor through your deck for the toolbox as normal, and then use your commander to reuse that. Is this this is a 5-drop? Ah, oh, dang. If it was 6, that'd be so sweet for the Fierce Empath. Woodland Bellower plan. Are we playing Jared's Orders? Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable cantrip, right? It's the card I'm thinking of. Yeah, exactly. Jared's Orders is like, yeah, sweet in a list like this. You can put, one thing in your bin, one thing in your hand, and then, play the card in your hand, and then later use Cotis to play the thing in your bin. I think Bard might be too slow. I think he's really slow. If he's not your commander where you're like powering him out on turn 2 consistently, I think in the 99 he's just a little too slow. But I do like the card. I love Secrets of the Dead. I feel like it's really good, this list. Okay. Jared is good but pricey mana-wise. It is 4 mana, yeah. You reckon Mausoleum Secrets instead. Oh, is that the 2 mana tutor? Mausoleum Secrets. Yeah, search your library for a black card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard. Reveal it, put in your hand. It only tutors black cards, but you only need 1 creature in your yard for it to grab Tortured Existence, which is pretty good. That's actually not too bad. And then 2 creatures in the yard, it gets you Ripples of Undeath. Or Lively Dirge. That's not bad. It also lets you search up Fiend Artisan. 2 creatures in the yard, you can search up Fiend Artisan. That's pretty good. Yeah, maybe that is better than Jared's Orders. I don't even think you need to fill your yard that much, right? Because it's less than or equal to. Yeah, because Fiend Artisan is probably going to be one of the best cards in the deck. You only need 2 creatures in the bin to turn that on. You barely need to fill up your yard. Yo, what up, Blues? I feel like I want to cut some of this other stuff. Like, I feel like it seems crazy to cut the like self-mill things, but I think it'll just make your list more consistent. Because the problem is, like, if you just play your Hedron Crab and then you're like, I milled land Nature's Lore, It just doesn't do anything. Your toolbox hasn't gotten any more consistent. All right, how many things did I suggest cutting? We got like 5 here. I feel like we want a little bit more. Wistfulness. Cool. That one's good. Mill 2 cards, return a permanent from your grave to your hand. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, and this one's meld. Is there a land that we want specifically for White of the Reliquary? Not really. Get rid of that. Old stick fingers. This creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Renew. Oh, interesting. That's a neat card. Vanillas are mostly for meld because Fang is good. Yeah, Fang is quite good in this list, so. Okay. Alright, I think let's trim down these ads real quick. Carrynet is funny. I wanted to mention it, but it's probably not that good. Birthing Pod, you can wait for a reprint. I mean, it's quite good in this list, but we have other tutors. Maybe Tormod is too slow. I think Chalk Outline's a little better. Because it does make untapped creatures, which lets you the block, which is nice. And then the investigating is better. Maybe like 8. And oh, I added 9. Then we got space for Tormod then. Get back here, Tormod. Oh, did I add him to the... Oh, I added him to this. That's what... okay, there we go. Whoops. I added these to the maybe board. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, so we got like 6? Amzu, very expensive cash-wise, but also cracked. What, Amzu? Amzu. Fauna Shaman's in the 99. This card's $17? Whenever one more card leaves your graveyard, create a 1/1 insect. Then put it... Oh, this card is quite good. Oh, it's because it's from Ravnica Clue Edition. Cool. When's that going to get reprinted? Yeah, Fauna Shaman's in the list. Fauna Shaman 100% stays in the list. Maybe we cut this one, honestly. It's kind of eh. Snarling Gorehound. How much do we trigger it? Probably a reasonable amount. Yeah, this is a good card. I don't know how jazzed I am at... What's Will the Sultai do again? Target player mills 3 cards, return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Oh, that's pretty good. Put X counters on target of X number of lands you control against travel instead of turn. It's like, okay. For adding Tormod-like effects, Lethal Scheme is incredible if dredge cards are in there. That's true. And let's put Tormod back in. I like him, and I do also like Lethal Scheme. That card is really good. There are some dredge cards. I feel like we keep Loam, and I think we want to keep some amount of the dredge things. Like things like Stitcher Supplier are really good for Birthing Pod, right? You play your Supplier, it mills you. You sack it, it mills you, and then you Birthing Ritual it into a Fiend Artisan or whatever, and then you go from there. So we want to keep some amount of those. Like Golgari Thug is really great sack fodder. This card's probably eh. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of them in your hand. That's in your graveyard. That's okay for 3 mana. It's like a cantrip. Some card I really like. Trying not to add stuff, but whatever. Una's Grace is pretty sweet, especially with Life in the Loam. Because it has Retrace, when you cast it, it leaves the yard to go to the stack. So it triggers all of your Tormod-like effects. And then it's instant speed, you can do it multiple times. It's pretty good. Oh, see, like this guy is like a creature version of Retrace. Worm Harvest. But I actually think Worm Harvest is better than his activated ability because you're casting the card. So it'll trigger your other effects. Like it'll draw you a card off of Fang, whereas activating Buddy's ability doesn't actually trigger Fang. You know what I'm saying? Will the Sultai mostly a flavor include? Okay. That's fair. It's kind of mid. What's the order for second do again? Sacrifice another creature, target about mills 2 cards. Pay life, so now. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, maybe we don't need Empath Bellower Plan. Oh, I put those on the baby board. I didn't mean to do that. I think that just the harder tutors makes more sense. It's 10 and 10? Okay. That's a 10 cards in, 10 cards out. Not sure about Troll and Imp both in the list, especially if you want to keep Thug. I never found wanting both at the same time. It is. Here's the thing: is actually if you're playing Birthing Ritual and like Fiend Artisan, or if we end up, like we probably do really want Birthing Pod, and maybe we go down on Lethal Scheme or something. If you're playing these effects that care about the mana value being X+1 or whatever for like Birthing Pod, it actually matters to have the different ones because Stinkweed Imp then lets you get a 4-drop. So if you want Sidisi, you would dredge the Imp versus Golgari Troll, which lets you get Lord of the Forsaken or whatever. So having the different mana values actually matters. All right, Alec, man. I think I'm gonna move on to another list and leave this one at that. But I feel like this is I think leaning more on like the Birthing Pod creature tutor toolbox is gonna make your deck run a little smoother because you birthing pod for an ETB creature, then you sack that to get something else, and then you use your commander to reuse that ETB creature. It's kind of like early game Fiend Artisan, Birthing Pod are your toolbox pieces. Late game, your commander becomes that, and then you don't have to do nothing slowly early game when you just self mill. If the list still sucks, sorry, I don't know. I kind of wish this commander did something more than put 2 counters on him. Or something different, He is kind of just, he's like Carador, but Carador reduces his own cooldown, his own cost. Alright, I'm going to move on to another list. Man, I spent way more time on those decks than I usually do. Alright, here we go. Alright, this user says this is their Karuga Primal Surge deck. Oops, I don't know why. That's what it says on the tin. Trying to keep it bracket 2. Honestly, not sure if it can stay down there. It works by using Karuga as the main draw engine to ramp and dig aggressively to find and cast Surge. Looking for feedback on containing this deck to bracket 2 while keeping Primal Surge as the deterministic win. It's not necessary to conform to the companion restrictions. There's a fun challenge. So even though your commander is the commander and not the companion, you've decided to still adhere to the companion restriction. Sure. Okay. That is a funny twist. All right. Set this as the commander. There's currently no way to guarantee cover. Oh, okay. Do I take submissions a la Ko-Fi? No, I don't. I don't. I don't do. I don't do like specific. Like you're guaranteed. There's no guarantee to this. It's just like I have people put decks in a thread. I just pick ones that are interesting to me. That's just kind of how the system works. It's really for my own time sake. So no, there's no Ko-Fi option for a deck review. Apologies. Okay, so this is everything is made of value 3 or greater. Cool. And we're playing Primal Surge. If you don't know, chat, Primal Surge is you exile the top card of your library. If it's a permanent, put it on the battlefield. And then if you do, repeat the process. So if your deck is all permanents, which as you can see, there's no instants of sorceries other than Primal Surge, this will put your entire deck into play. Hello, Bart. You going nuts? What? Just inspired by my perspective as a silly control enjoyer on your Sultai Drago. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I do love me a good control deck. Yeah, quick. Yeah, so Blues remembers. I was doing like 80 deck reviews in like one stream. I did 100 in one stream too. That was crazy, and I just got like tired of it. It's super burnt out on deck reviews. You're looking for one of my videos where I had the running gag where I had Snail say yes. It was one where I responded to him, and I believe that's the one about Rule Zero conversations, like why I keep Rule Zero conversations short or something. Should have like a stick figure guy with a wall of text, and then my dude saying "shut up." on the thumbnail, that's the one. All right, this deck is interesting. It's Primal Surge. I, I, so I think it's interesting that you said, and I guess I don't know. Maybe people in chat can tell me if I'm wrong. You said that like you're worried about it not being bracket 2. Primal Surge is 10 mana. This card is a 10 drop, and you have nothing to do for 3 turns. Your opponents gets 2 free turns of you not soul ringing into something quickly, no 2 mana ramp into a 4 drop quickly. Like you're actually playing so slow. If your opponents cannot beat this deck, I don't know what to tell you. This is perfectly fine in bracket 2. Look, bracket 2 should not be the like kitty baby pool. It's you still have to respect that at 10 mana they can maybe win the game. So I don't think you have to worry about that. In terms of changes to this list, one thing that I think is a bit of a miss in lists like this is a more Mystic Snake type effects. Because you're always low on interaction, because of the nature of these decks. So I would lean on more of those. There are like a couple other reasonable ones. There's like the shark. There's the one that's like double blue, double green as well. Frilled Mystic, I think. Frilled Mystic. What is the shark counterspell creature? I really like Grolnok in the 99 of this list as well. Grol. Oh, it's like a shark. Damn it. Oh, here it is. Here, Voracious Great Shark. Yeah. I would add more cards like these. Well, actually, maybe Grolnok doesn't work here. I like more of these type effects. This stream is... Oh, no. Did my restream die? What happened? The hell? Am I even still streaming? Okay, wait. The stream is still going. Alright, what the... My restream just, like, died all of a sudden. The hell? That was weird. Can I reconnect? Yeah, thank you. Why the hell did that happen? That was weird. My thing just died. Alright, well, at least the stream didn't go out. Cool. Another card that is pretty good is Teferi Mage of Zolfir. Teferi Mage of Zolfir is a really powerful card, and it'll help you set up for your Primal Surge. You can flash into Teferi, then untap, cast your Primal Surge. They can't interact with you, which is pretty sweet. Beanstalk Giant. Let's ramp. Oh yeah, Beanstalk Giant's a good suggestion. Yeah, I like Beanstalk Giant a lot in a list like this. It's a ramp spell on a creature, which is pretty good. But there's a lot more of these effects you can add as well. A lot more adventures and omens and stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I guess I guess this is all the user really asked for, is they just said feedback on keeping it to bracket 2. I don't feel like the list as is too strong. Like I feel like my bracket 2 decks could reasonably defeat these. If you're worried that the deck is too strong, like maybe you cut some of your like best pieces. The things that really give you a ton of mana, like maybe Kaidel gets axed, or some of your card draw maybe is cut. Like, you know, if you just wanted to make it less consistent, like Cultivator Colossus is obviously like really good in the list, so if that gets axed, you could cut like these two for Frilled Mystic and Voracious Gear Shark and then Great Shark, and then you're like more interactive and less focused on just searching for Primal Surge. If you're worried about that, honestly, I don't know. I feel like this list is fine for bracket 2. Does Uro not kill yourself if you are full sending Primal Surge? No, there's a Laboratory Maniac. I'm pretty sure that's how you win. Is you Lab Man and then the Uro enters and you win the game. All right, I'm gonna move on to another list. But yeah, like I'm super interested if like this list is completely crushing your tables. I find that very strange. What time is it? 11:07. Okay, I can probably do another good one here. Um. Okay. Here we have a pirate list. It didn't really explain what they need help with. I'm gonna do a different list. I'll just message them. You know what? Let's do another toolbox list. I love toolbox decks. All right, we're playing Feldon. Right, Feldon toolbox. Blah blah blah. Right. The deck struggles with being incredibly mana hungry. If I was interacting multiple times in a turn cycle, you feel like you're not exerting enough pressure. Unsure if adding more instant interactions is the answer, since it kind of cuts against the desire to have a lot of permanence. Okay. Cool. Let's look at this. Primal Surge is a May on every flip. I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure with Primal Surge you can choose not to spit your whole list out. All right, let me let's clone this deck real quick. Okay, so Feldon, awesome card, right? You pay 3 mana, tap, create a token that's a copy of target creature in your graveyard, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Gains haste, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Love this card. Super cool. 1,000-year elixir, right? This lets it untap every turn, right? Oh my goodness. Where's our sundial? This card's $20? God damn it. I hate that there's no reprints these days. Is the list printing not any cheaper? That is the list printing. Is this cheaper? I guess that's cheaper. Cool. Um, Interaction on permanents in red. Yeah, there's a lot. We got a lot of options with this commander. Sundial Infinite. I mean, this is like one of my favorite cards in this deck. The cool thing about Sundial is the way Feldon works is like you can, use this to get rid of the sacrifice trigger, and then you keep it. So you get to keep all your tokens, which is pretty cool because then, every turn you can make a dude and then, make another dude every turn. It's pretty cool. I think it's a fun thing. I also really like. It's another card that's like too expensive because it's functionally reserveless. Blah blah blah. Anyway, Dino DNA, another fun option here. Yes, it is 6 mana versus 3 from Feldon, but it is effectively another version of Feldon where you can put something under it and then make copies of it. It kind of does a similar thing. I like having redundancy in a list like this, so you're not super reliant on your commander. Yeah, I should make an hour-long video about that. Yeah. Now one thing is you're talking about, this deck is very mana hungry. And I agree. A type of list like this is quite mana hungry. Because you need 3 mana to activate your commander, and if you're going to activate it multiple times with like the seal, you have to untap it, blah blah blah. Luckily, we're an artifact deck. Mana is like free. Mana is free. Just play like Gilded Lotus. We could play Scepter of Eternal Glory. Is that the card I'm thinking of? Scepter of Eternal Glory? Yeah. 4 mana adds 1 mana, but it adds triple of any color if you have at least 3 or more lands with the same name. And you got a couple of mountains in here, so it's basically like a 1 mana discount of Gilded Lotus. Again, functionally reserveless, so whatever. Thran Dynamo, sure. Thran Dynamo's a little amp because it doesn't make red mana for Feldon, but you'll get there. It gives you enough if you have 1 red to untap Feldon with the seal and something else. I see you have the water skin, but we can also do Victory Chimes. Does a similar thing. I know it's colorless instead of red mana, but still, useful. I think adding a big mana like this is a really good option. Obviously, Thornvale Drain is also super good. I would just proxy this. But I think I agree. I agree your deck is struggling with mana, but we just gotta add a lot of mana. Like I would consider adding like 4 of these, maybe even 5. Is there a land that lets you untap a creature? Does that exist? Also, Neheb the Eternal makes a lot of mana, pairs well with Blast Furnace Hellkite. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. I kind of like Neheb the Eternal in here. That is a fun one. That's not a bad idea. I like that. Tap it on top. Okay, no. I don't think there's something that lets me untap a creature. Well, I guess Maze of It does, but that's not in the way that I want it to. You think it's worth running smaller mana rocks since you can easily fetch them with the Goblin Engineer? Yeah. Eh. I think if it's because Goblin Engineer hits 3 or less, right? The fact that it hits Bender's Water Skin and Victory Chimes is probably. It also hits Patriarch Seal, which lets you untap your commander. I think it's worth running those for the Goblin Engineer package. That's actually, I think that's pretty good. Reckless Handling is like a gamble for artifacts, right? Yeah. That's cool. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X for X of that mana value, put a creature onto the battlefield. Okay. Is Shriekhorn worth it? I'm trying to think of if Shriekhorn is worth it. It's a 1-mana artifact that enters with 3 charge counters. You tap, remove a charge counter, and then target player mills 2. So it just lets you early game, you just tap it a bunch and like mill yourself for 6. And then it is an artifact that you can sacrifice to Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer, or Duretti late game. Kind of early game sets up your graveyard, late game is like sack fodder. Not a horrible idea, right? Yeah, Goblin Matron in here to get the Welder and Engineer is funny. Like, there's a mini Goblin package. I think maybe Goblin Trojan is like, maybe we're pushing it a little much. Because we already have the way, like with our commander, we can already recur Goblin Welder anyway. So do we need to protect Goblin Welder? I'm kind of iffy on this one. I do like Jaxus as well. Jaxus kind of. Oh, is Jaxus already in here? Did I miss that? Yeah. Perfect. Never mind. Shriekhorn's good. Don't lol at my Shriekhorn. This is a former modern staple. It's a classic, right? Shrieking Mog. When does it tap all other creatures? This is funny. I do like Slow Bad. Yeah, maybe it's Goblin Matron time. I think this one's just we don't need to protect our dudes that much, you know? At this point, just Grindstone yourself. Isn't Grindstone like mana? Yeah. That's 3 mana activate. That's like infinite mana. It's like 1 billion mana. Shriekhorn's free. It can sack itself to protect anything. Sacrifice a goblin, regenerate target. Oh, it doesn't regenerate goblins. I guess it protects your commander. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, that's true. It does protect your commander. I didn't think about that. Old man shouting at Modern Horizons. I mean, Shriekhorn was no longer modern playable before Modern Horizons. It fell off pretty hard. But I do think it's better than Grindstone. 3 mana is too much to activate. This is free. I actually do like this card in the back. Man, there's so many cards I want to add to this, and it's just like, because Life of the Party is so funny in this deck, isn't it? Because every turn you can Life of the Party, and then like people just take 1 billion damage. Oh, Hairgast. I'm still upset Wild Nakatl isn't running Domain. Wild Nakatl was pretty dead, like relatively quickly after I started playing Modern. Because I played in like 2014 or whatever. When did Nakatl fall off? Like 2016? Like the only party only. Oh, it only works if it isn't a token? Oh, right, that makes sense. Ah, damn. Alright, well, good. That's another card we don't have to add. Can't Feldon it. Ah, damn. Skull Clamp. I guess you always sack the token. It's like one more mana. Monumental Endurance. It's a good card. Do loot a decent amount. What does this flip into? Man, I think this card's kind of mid. Versus Tunnel Grounder, very good card. This card's really good. Man, I love the Goblin package in here. This card's not. This card sucks. We talked about it on the podcast. I think this card's it's interesting, but it is kind of booty. When this enters, exile each opponent's graveyard. That's pretty good for your toolbox. Whenever Dirty attacks, choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may sacrifice an artifact if you to return the chosen to the battlefield. Good synergy with Shriekhorn. Asushi, obviously really good with Feldon. You missed the Malira pod Splinter Twin days. Yeah. No, back when you had a couple of extra turns in Modern. When an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. You know what? I've played cards like Quicksmith Genius and like Riddlesmith in a lot of these decks, and they're always like so slow. It just never puts in enough work, especially for 3 mana. And Riddlesmith is 2 mana, right, or whatever. This one's 3. I hate giving my opponents cards. Let's get this out of here. You're a mono red control deck. You don't want to give your opponents cards. That will lose you the game. World Gorger Dragon. Wait, is there a World Gorger loops in this deck, or am I crazy? Is there? I completely missed this. Is there a World Gorger combo in here, or this is just for like shits and giggles? Skull Clamp is left there when you were considering. Oh, okay, I see. Stuffy Doll, I'm kind of lukewarm on. And this list, we're not like goading or forcing that much combat. It's probably not going to be that effective. I know instant speed putting into play is like funny, but like your opponents can see your graveyard, so it's not like they'll, unless they forget about it. I don't know what the dragon is in here for. Maybe I'm confused. Let's you reuse all your ETBs and stuff. And untaps your mana rocks, but I don't know. Chef's Kiss can control target spell that targets only a single permanent player. Copy it, then reselect targets at random. Is this card good? Hasten Enabler plus Feldon Valakut. Is that what it's in here for? Oh, that's a combo. Ah, okay. I see. Oh, is that what the dowsing device is for? As like a loopable haste enabler like that? Okay, I see. I did not see the combo. When a Havoc Eater enters, each opponent goad up to one target creature they control, put X counters on it, raise the total pot. Yeah, that's funny. The Great Door is also funny, but it's really slow. And like as a looting engine, it's 3 mana. Maybe a Great Door is like a infinite with Battle Mage Bracers. I see. Shifts case they're calling it Red Commandeer. Yeah, I don't know if it's Red Command. Or maybe it is Red Commandeer. That's why it's bad. No, control works in modern. It's just, you know, most lists are not control-y. Access protection from board wipe. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of funny. I feel like I want to add more, like have more cuts. But there's a lot of good utility in what you got here. Maybe Battlesphere. It does damage, but it has no other utility. And there's like a lot of things that do damage but have other utility that are maybe better. How's this one? Yeah, this one's probably the most mid. I kind of like the rest of the list, to be honest. Yeah, I agree, Blues. Mirror Battlesphere is a card I always think is cool, but always end up cutting because it never does enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it doesn't do enough because it's like if I have Battlesphere in the yard or Wormcoil in the yard, I'm picking Wormcoil. If I have Battlesphere in the yard or Phyrexian Trinisphere in the yard, I'm picking Trinisphere. And it's just like, am I ever gonna do Battlesphere over any of these? It's like I only pick it if it's literally like the only big attacky creature in the yard. I feel like maybe it's just bad. I feel like you have to find a use for your Battlesphere. Yeah, it does put a lot of artifacts on board, but it's only one more artifact than like the Triniform, and it just has less utility than like than like this Havoc Eater does, and Havoc Eater also hit for a lot of damage. Since Feldon isn't actually locked to artifact cards, I think it makes Mirror Battlesphere just not that good in the list. Your table doesn't find it funny. You can silence lock the table with Hope and Giriper. That oh wait, that is really funny. That's only for non-creature spells though, right? Sacrifice until your next turn. Target player who was dealt damage by Hope and Giriper this turn can't cast. Yeah, it's only non-creature spells. It is funny to loop around though. Okay, I think these are my cuts and adds. I think Battlesphere and the Refold are kind of your worst bombs. I don't like giving opponents card draw. I think Stuffy Doll's just kind of in this list. Quicksilver the Genius is like fine, but I think it's a little slow. Same with this looting guy, and then the Emissary Grudges is eh. I think we just add like more mana. Like I really do think we want like Scepter. I think we want Thran Dynamo. I think we want like Gilded Lotus for sure. Maybe Victory Chimes as well. I think we just want more mana. I really like Sundial in here, and I really like Shriekhorn as well. I think those are fun ads. Same with Diurno DNA, just kind of like late game. And as you add mana rocks, the mana hungriness of this card will become less relevant too. So I think some combination of these added. Maybe Neheb's probably the weak link here. Maybe you want to double down on the Goblin plan with the Matron. I think that's not a bad idea. Maybe it's a little slow. Kind of depends on your play group. Yeah, I think some combination of extra mana here from like these things that tap for like 2, 3 plus mana and a little extra utility will go a long way over these. Yeah. Hope Gerper's not too bad because like, if they're just playing like a green creature deck, it's not really gonna do anything to them. But if you run up against like Is It Spellslinger and you just hope a gear for them every turn, they're just gonzo. It's pretty difficult for them to get around, especially because if they need to cast Graveyard Hate to get around it, if that's a non-creature spell, then they're just stuck. So yeah. Alright. I've been talking for a long time. My throat hurts. Patrons, obviously, this is just the first stream of the month. So, keep posting in the thread in the Discord. Try and be as specific as you can with like what problem your deck has. And I'll get to more as I stream later throughout the month. But that's going to be it for today's stream. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to my patrons for their support. If anybody wants to follow along, let me just real quick put a link in the chat here. This is the Architect folder that has all the decks, so you can see all the decks that I've reviewed from there. And yeah, thank you all.